Yeah, I'm. As we were talking about on the panel, I think that the NFT industry, a lot like other tech industries, is going through a normal cycle. We saw a big boom, we saw contraction, concentration, and now evolution. And so I think everyone who's sort of focused on just the retracement is missing out that we have a ton of growth and a ton of new sort of cycles in front of us.
So for me, it's like if I'm gonna be in a space, I want to build something that's gonna make me excited, but address problems that we're having. And for me, what I always notice is the fan engagement part, right? We always say fans are the most important people and they mean the most to the sport, but let's put our money where our mouth is and really give the fans an opportunity to really step up and really have a voice and really determine the value of a player.
Like in the current fragmented ecosystem, you can't expect AI agents to manage wallets on different chains and all of these different private keys. So we want to simplify and make AI agent activity on chain a lot simpler and safer.
Welcome to The Edge of Show, your gateway to the Web3 revolution. We explore the cutting edge of blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, ordinals, DeFi, gaming, and entertainment, plus how AI is reshaping our digital future. Join us as we bring you visionaries and disruptors pushing boundaries in this digital renaissance. This show is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers that are pumped about where innovation meets culture. This is where the future begins.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Edge of Show. I'm here at Korea Blockchain Week 2025 with Cameron, who's the CEO of ApeCo, and that's not ApeDAO. We'll talk about that and some other things. Great to have you on the show, and it's fun to do that panel I think like 20 minutes ago.
I appreciate you having me, Josh.
So we were talking about sort of the evolution of NFTs and where it's all going. Some interesting sort of data to sort of back up that there's still a market here. What's your take at this point? I know this is a conversation that you've had ad nauseum in the space, but you developed a pretty specific thesis, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm. As we were talking about on the panel, I think that the NFT industry, a lot like other tech industries, is going through a normal cycle. We saw a big boom, we saw contraction, concentration, and now evolution. And so I think everyone who's sort of focused on just the retracement is missing out that we have a ton of growth and a ton of new sort of cycles in front of us.
And speaking of evolution, you're sharing back in sort of the sort of May, June, July timeframe, pretty big decision was made to dissolve ApeDAO. Maybe you can kind of speak to sort of the impetus for that and how that kind of came about and what's happened next.
Definitely. Oh, I think it's good. It's worth giving flowers to the ApeCoin community, the leaders of the ApeCoin DAO, who for 3 years were at the forefront of like what was the possibilities of DAOs. There's more than 600 AIPs put up, more than 200 passed and funded. I mean, it was a very active DAO. I think in that way it was very successful. But starting in probably about 2024, and into 2025, we began to see how the ApeCoin DAO was struggling to keep up with the nimbleness and agility of some of our competitors who weren't operating under DAO structures. And the ApeCoin community, I think, reacted in a really great way. They put together initially like something like the Banana Bill, which was an investment fund that was set up to support ApeChain's growth. And that was a more concentrated fund where there was only a few leaders that were deploying it. And I think from there, we saw that there was an opportunity to continue to evolve how the DAO was governed. And so then there was an AIP put up to actually create an executive function. And in early 2025, I was hired as the CEO.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. It was a logical extension for me, and I really appreciated Yuga's support in doing it, stepping from Yuga's exec team over. And then, in my first 30, 60 days there, you began to see, even still, there was a lot of room for us to become even more agile. And I give a ton of credit to Greg, CEO of Yuga, Gargamel, who saw, responded to the community saying, let's evolve again. And he put up an AIP that said, let's sunset the DAO, let's do it in the right way, and let's set ourselves up for success. And ultimately, 99% of the community voted in favor.
So very cool. And congrats on the new role. I guess with respect to DAOs, you guys found that it wasn't the right fit for you. Do you have a broader perspective on when DAOs are a good fit versus when they aren't?
I think there's other DAOs in the space that have been more successful, particularly ones that are geared around a particular tool or infrastructure where it's a decision about, do you monetize, who has authority over the operation. Where you have a DAO that has a purpose that is much broader and multifaceted, I think it becomes very hard. There's competing interests, there's different voting factions, there's very different views on what could be the leading, foot to step out with. And
So
so
is there a size limit, you think, for a community after which DAOs become a little unwieldy?
I don't know if it's necessarily the number of people as it is the number of possibilities in front of them. So if we said you're a DAO that just operates this specific product, it probably said you could still have 50,000 people a part of it, but they all have a specific interest in the product. If you say, I think the ApeCoin DAO is a little different. We said we have 50,000 people, do whatever you want. I mean, democracy at its finest.
Yeah. So diversity of opinions, diversity of goals makes for DAOs to be a little bit more complicated. Makes sense. Appreciate your perspective there. And so, things are rocking now. You have a new initiative you announced called RAID. Maybe you can kind of spell out, define that acronym for us and tell us what's cooking there.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's so Project RAID is the rapid ApeCoin integration deployment. The teams rolled it out over the last couple of weeks. And really the idea was that ApeCoin has, we've had community members as part of the ApeCoin DAO that are across the spectrum in crypto, in the Solana ecosystem, in the Base ecosystem, in the BNB ecosystem, sort of everywhere. And yet ApeCoin has been stuck, even though crypto is not supposed to be walled, it's just been Ethereum based. But the tech's really evolved. We have these incredible partners at Layer 0 who have made it possible for tokens like ours to go across many chains. So that started with going from Ethereum to Arbitrum to ApeChain. And now 2 weeks ago, we announced moving to Solana. I want to shout out the Solana Foundation for supporting that and all the great partners over there. And it's allowed us to interact with all of our ApeCoin holders that have already been in Solana ecosystem, including some apes who have been like, I've been an ape for 4 years. This is my first chance to really interact with ApeCoin. And then just today, we announced, we integrated with Hyper. So Project RAID is continuing. We're seeing a lot of really good, data coming out of it, a lot of really renewed excitement. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's sort of an analogy. Some people, let's take LA. Some people will drive around LA. They don't care about traffic. They want to go to Hollywood. They want to go to the beach. They want to go downtown. But then there's people that want to stay where they are, right? If they're in Venice, that's their bubble. And I think you have to be able to get to all of those people and give them a chance to be part of the community, and sort of cross-chain opportunities now abound. What are you looking forward to next?
Well, first, I might steal that analogy in the future because that's a good one. So thanks for it. I think we're really excited. I mean, we, as part of the transition to ApeCo, Greg set out and the community supported that our missions are the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Other Side, and ApeChain. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club, ApeFest is coming up. Hopefully we'll be seeing you there maybe in Las Vegas. A lot of exciting things coming up.
What's the date on that one?
October 24th to 26th.
Okay.
We'll
Greg,
see you there.
you are my event in DC.
What better way to fly into DC than to be exhausted from Las Vegas? But so I'm really excited for the things we've got cooking there. We'll be sharing at ApeFest. And just really, there's nothing better than getting the club, in person. Every year, you just feel the excitement. You remember why you're part of the community. Other Side, Michael Figge, has just crushed it in terms of the development. We've been sharing that, look, our goal here isn't to just be a metaverse. We want to take down Roblox. That's a $100 billion company. That's a $100 billion vision, and we're not backing down from that. And sure, what you see today is not the end product, but it is much more polished. There's much more coming. Third-party builders are activating. I'm so excited about what we're doing with Other Side. And on the ApeChain front, we've got an incredible community. There's more than 200 different sub-communities of NFT communities on ApeChain. We've got, really great builders around gaming, around, gambling. And for us, it's really just showing that, like, the power of having a foundation in community and people can be so much stronger than having a foundation in sort of ethos, just this idea of I'm going to farm points or something. That wasn't us. And so those three pillars, I feel like we're really cranking on it. So really appreciate Greg and the community setting us on that path.
Yeah, right on. Well, I know you got to run, so thank you for your insights and catching us up. We'll have to have you back again for a longer episode at some point soon. If folks want to get involved in Ape Chain, see what's going on, follow you on X, where should they go?
Head of Ape. That's
Nice.
it's the best I could do. Follow.
It wasn't weekend, so
Follow ApeCoin, Ape Chain Hub, Head of Ape. Also go follow PP Man, Simple Farmer. There's a whole great group out there. You'll find us.
all right. Thanks so much.
So thanks, Josh.
Let's take a pause to shout out one of our favorite partners. For tech innovators facing legal challenges, Zuba Lawler is your go-to law firm. They focus on understanding your technology and business model before addressing legal requirements. Specializing in blockchain, AI, VR, AR, quantum computing, and more, Zuba Lawler offers expert guidance in capital raising, IP transactions, M&A, litigation, and compliance. Visit zuberlawler.com, that's ZUBERLAWLER.com, for cutting-edge legal solutions.
Hi, everyone. Josh Krieger here, co-host of Edge of Show. I'm here live at Creative Blockchain Week 2025. So honored to be here with Tristan Thompson, NBA superstar. Great to have you on the show.
Josh, thank you for having me on.
So, you've been in the league a long time. You've done a lot of great stuff. You played with one of my teams, the Celtics, and won a championship. So you've had some fun, and I guess you developed this interest in Web3 along the way. I'm curious, like, what inspired that? When did that journey begin?
Yeah, for me, it's always about forward thinking about what's next, right? How do you want your legacy to continue on, right? I've had a lot of success playing in NBA and winning a championship. But for me, I've always been the guy in the locker room that's talked about finance and taught guys how to, manage their books, what to look for from a financial advisor, investment portfolio, how to expand. And for me, it's only right if I'm going to give this advice and tools to understand what else is happening, the digital asset world, the digital finance world. And with that being said, it was crypto. And for myself, once I started educating myself and learning it, I've really got so into the space and really excited about everything that it's about. And whether it's the tech, whether it's the builders, whether it's the story, or whether it's what they're trying to fix and to make the world a better place.
And like, were any early projects that just like caught your attention? Were you into like the NFT side, the culture side, meme coins, or more of the big cap projects? I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, for me, it was more so from the meme and the DeFi side, right? Because I think for myself, the meme side was so intriguing because you would see on Twitter, these guys are saying, I'm getting a 10x, 100x on my money. So, you don't see that in the regular TradFi, centralized institution world, right? Where I'm originally from, right? Native to. So for me, it intrigued me to understand what is really going on in this space. So obviously, with the meme side, it's almost like, it's the degen, high gambling, risk-taking, Las Vegas type of mindset, which is totally fine. But also the DeFi side, which I love, which is basically a better version of what Wells Fargo is offering. When you go to Wells Fargo, your investment banker says, hey, I'm going to give you 4% on your money, or 4.5%.
4%, that would be a good day.
Yeah, but then remember, they tell you 4%, and after you give them your money, they have the fees, all this other...
Change the rate.
Yeah, change the rate, all the underlining, and you're walking with 2%, maybe 1%. But for me, in the DeFi space, in terms of whether you're using, the Moonwell of the world, the Morphos, Wasabi, you can put USDC in these vaults, and you're getting right now, 8 to 12%. So, for me, it was like, those are things that have application to real world and my world where people can digest it and really understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fascinating to see how the banks have responded to the stablecoin legislation, and they're not happy, right? Because, they wanted people to have their 0.025% interest and not have alternatives. So the idea that crypto brings these unique opportunities on chain is really exciting. And, I guess at some point you decide you want to get your hands dirty. So that's the genesis of Basketball.fun. How did that come about?
Yeah, for me, creating Basketball.fun, it was like, what could I build in this? Because I'm a builder at heart, right? For me to get to the NBA, you got to build yourself up to become like that. You don't wake up and just become an NBA player, right? So for me, I had to build.
I can only imagine.
Right? So like the grind, the hustle, the work ethic. So for me, it's like, if I'm going to be in a space, I want to build something that's going to make me excited, but address problems that we're having. And for me, what I always notice is the fan engagement part, right? We always say fans are the most important people and they mean the most to the sport. but let's put our money where our mouth is and really give the fans an opportunity to really step up and really have a voice and really determine the value of a player.
I love that. So how does that actually work? Like, someone's a fan of yours. How can they sort of participate in that process on chain?
Well, we're going to go live the week before the season starts, Basketball.fun. And basically imagine, for people at home, imagine on-chain fantasy basketball, but we're also adding a prediction market side. Obviously, a prediction market, that's been a huge thing with Poly Market.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most successful aspects of the industry.
They were our news. During the election, they were more reliable and credible than CNN and Fox News. So that shows you something, that the community, if you grab a bunch of people who have an idea, we don't know, because we don't know the underlying, we don't know if some people were from the White House, some people were in the thick of things that had the intel. But then, if it shows you a community could come together with an idea or have a belief and it actually come to fruition, that shows you how powerful this community is. So why can't we not do this in sports?
It's a good question and a good problem to try to solve. So on the flip side, how do you make sure that what you're building is sort of has community ingrained in it? It's not just about the speculation.
Yeah, well, the way we're going to do it is we are going to let the fans and the people in the community determine the value of players, right? I think that's, but also with anything, right? With any project or with any company, right? You got to incentivize the community for participating, right? So for me, we look at it, the more wins you get or more right calls, the more wins you get, the more rewards you get, the more tokens you get, the more you incentivize. And to make it even cool, which everyone loves, is a leaderboard. If you create a leaderboard with who and the project, these everyone that's playing in the community, if you have a leaderboard every year of who the top 10 success that have the most wins are making the right calls, then you give them extra incentive behind it, right? And I think you make this you make it a game within the game, right? Obviously, the game is drafting the right players, tokenizing the right guys to show value. But the other game is like you're competing with the rest of the chain, with everyone that's playing this game.
And if you don't draft the right players out of the gate, is there any kind of redo possible?
Yeah, so it's play to earn, right? So every week and every moment you could change, you could swap guys out. No different than fantasy when guys are getting dropped, waived, trading. You could do all that on chain. So we're allowing where you don't have to be pigeonholed with whoever you draft, stay with the whole year. But that's why that's the cool thing about the blockchain. You can always mix and match, recreate your team every week, depending on who's having a good week or a bad week.
Cool. And what's been the response from your fans, from the community so far?
I mean, social media's been given a lot of the response and the feel. Everyone's like, it's about time. About time we get to have a voice, and we're able to really show people what we think, who are the best players, who are the most valuable players in fantasy sports. And from a prediction market side, I want to be a disruptor. And in terms of that, is like bringing up questions and creating pools of not the question that ESPN asked on NBA Today. It's like, let's get the nitty-gritty NBA questions that people really want to know.
So that's really cool. Beyond Basketball.fun, you are sort of keeping involved in other aspects of the community, including AxonDAO. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, AxonDAO is an on-chain DeFi project, basically taking your on-chain health data and putting it in the palm of your hands, right? I think the most frustrating part, especially for myself growing up, and my brother who has epilepsy, the most frustrating part was having his medical data, being able to offer it to other physicians to get second, third opinions.
If he's moving around with you to different cities, it's a lot of hassle.
Yeah. So, and you know the hassle of trying to get your health charts. You got to email or call your doctor. They're probably on vacation.
I'm a nomad. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare and a headache. So imagine being able to have it at the palm of your hands, wherever you are. You could be in Korea and go see a doctor. You could be in Africa, go see a doctor. But I love that it allows us to be able to create groundbreaking success stories, groundbreaking treatments, but give people the access all over the world to get the needs and help and want they may need.
Yeah, I love the juxtaposition of having fun with the other project and then doing something very meaningful and serious. Obviously, both are meaningful, but a different type of project there. We have a panel at the Capital event I mentioned to you about DeSci and healthcare and innovation there. And I think there's tremendous applications for blockchain, for transparency, for owning your data. So very cool to hear that. And I guess like just taking a step back, you've had a chance to engage with other athletes. How do you see blockchain impacting sort of the journey of sort of upcoming athletes and sort of their perspective on sort of finance and capitalism and sort of, financial planning?
Yeah, no, I think the sentiment's been great. I mean, a lot of guys have been asking more questions about the crypto space and really understanding what am I doing. And I think for me, being the pioneer in this space is kind of paying it forward and educating, right? I think in order to onboard the masses and do the mass adoption, we got to educate and give that literacy where they feel comfortable opening a wallet, knowing that this is not a FTX situation, it's not a scam. There's actually great protocols and great people in the space that actually want to make this world a better place, and just align yourself with those people.
Respect, respect. So, basketball.fun is exciting. Do you have like broader ideas around where you want to take this next, and what does that roadmap look like?
I mean, for me, I want to do this with all sports. I think it's obviously basketball because of my background and everything. It's the first pinnacle, but I want to cover all sports. Obviously, you have big things coming up, whether it's Olympics, World Cup, and other sports. So I want to keep building that and expanding each and every day.
Beautiful, man. If people want to get involved, be part of the launch, what should they do?
Yeah, I mean,
Go.
go to we're launching the site. I would love people to get on. And the great thing about the space is that early signups, there's incentives behind it. We're going to be giving out rewards, airdrops. There's going to be incentives for those early signups that put their email in. So then when we do launch, you'll be rewarded for being one of our early believers or people that want to be part of the space and give the project a try. And one thing about us, we're just trying to provide InfoFi meets, sports betting, sports gambling, and prediction market.
I love it. And if people want to follow you on X, where do they go?
Yeah, Real Tristan 13 is my X account, X Twitter, or whatever you like to call it. But keep up with me, follow me. I respond. I see everything. So appreciate the love.
All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate having me. Thank you.
Hey listeners, are you ready to amplify your voice in a digital world? Introducing .podcast domains, your gateway to the future of online identity. Whether you're a creator, a company, or just someone with big ideas, .podcast is for you. Own your unique digital identity, connect securely, and explore hundreds of apps with no renewal fees. Don't wait for someone else to claim your name. Secure your .podcast domain today and be part of the next generation of content creation. Visit get.unstoppabledomains.com/podcast to get started. Again, that's get.unstoppabledomains.com/podcast. Your voice, your rules, your identity.
Hi, everyone. This is Josh Krieger, co-host of The Edge of Show, live at Career Blockchain Week 2025. Really proud to be back here for the third year in a row and a media partner for a great event. The line is around the corner to get in here, and I'm cozy in the Walker Hill Library with Jonathan Covey, the Chief Marketing Officer at Zetachain. It's great to have you on the show.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
So for a little bit of background, Zetachain is a universal blockchain enabling native interoperability across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and beyond. So you got the big three.
Right. And 7 more beyond that.
7 more beyond. So so that's really exciting what you're doing, and looking forward to sort of diving in. I guess my first question is just, what brings you to Korea, and what's the significance of this market for Zetachain?
Yeah, definitely an important market in Korea in terms of trading volume. And I think a lot of trends are shaping up around stable coins. That's the big topic of conversation. A lot of banks and institutions and even the government itself is supporting like a one-pegged stable coin. So we're very interested in that and scaling a core contributor team in Korea to build brand awareness and host events, engage developers. So it's been a focus for a number of years now. Yeah.
Very cool. And you guys are all about the universal chain agnostic infrastructure concept. I'm curious sort of what was the ideation on this, and like where's the market pull coming from? Like, is it folks that are just tired of all these different chains and what it sort of, there's this concept of interoperability across chains, but this is a little bit different. Can you tell me more?
Yeah. So the whole thesis behind Zetachain is that Bitcoin was never going to suffice for all of the use cases in crypto. And so we saw Ethereum come online, And there are new blockchains popping up all the time, like Solana, Sui with different programming languages. But the missing critical piece is how do you have a unified experience across all of them in a way where apps just work like the internet? Like in classic internet, you deploy a website, anyone with an internet connection can access it. So how do you have that same experience in crypto? Because all of these blockchains offer unique advantages. And so the thesis of Zetachain and what it provides as a universal blockchain is access to the utility across all of these diverse chains.
That makes a lot of sense. And you have the Unison upgrade, which is sort of the idea of giving the app world superpowers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So this was the latest Zetachain protocol upgrade, and there's a lot packed in it. The main thing is bringing Zetachain more into Ethereum compatibility. So it's an EVM programming layer, and the superpowers is that you just deploy one universal app on Zetachain, and it can access users on Solana, Ethereum,
Wow.
even Bitcoin network itself. So
that's
like,
game changing.
Yeah, because as a developer, you can deploy like a Uniswap contract out of the box or Curve, and with very little code change, it becomes universal.
And what languages can you code in to sort of develop these apps, or is it just across the board, whatever you want?
Yeah, so right now, EVM, so Solidity.
Okay.
Which, like, people talk about Solana, and of course it's super important and very active, and Sui with the move language, and there's a lot of hype and stuff, but in reality, most adoption and familiarity with devs is still Solidity. And the beauty of Zetachain is you can write in that familiar language, but then access the Solana ecosystem, for example, without having to reinvent the wheel and hire a Rust engineer. So you get access to all of these chains.
What's the sort of supply and demand right now for Solidity developers? Is it was one point it was really hard to find a Solidity developer, but I assume there's been more and more folks that are sort of coming up to speed on Solidity over the last year or so.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it continues to be the dominant programming language, and Ethereum is certainly durable and lasting.
Makes sense. And I guess, are you guys dabbling with AI at all in terms of the capabilities of Zetachain and sort of helping programmers to sort of enhance their skills?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like every company now is a tech company, or they put AI in the name. But like when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, Zetachain provides this standard interoperability layer and makes it very simple for AI agents to act upon and do cross-chain stuff. So I think we're positioned well for that. And like in the current fragmented ecosystem, you can't expect AI agents to manage wallets on different chains and all these different private keys. So we want to simplify and make AI agent activity on chain a lot simpler and safer.
Cool. And speaking of new products, you're also introducing a new model for cross-chain DEX design. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So this is a team in the ecosystem that's building a new DEX. So, and we work with them closely. There's a few. There's Zuno and also Beam, which is like a flagship cross-chain DEX. So think Uniswap, but you can do native transactions between ETH for Bitcoin on Bitcoin network, or any sort of combination of DeFi assets. But the cool thing about them is that they're implementing this VE33 model to their DEX. So like Aerodrome is a good example on Base, and it solves a lot of the challenges of DEXs where users are pretty disloyal with their liquidity, and it's a more cooperative and sustainable model. So we're excited about that because every chain needs a core DEX for apps to plug into. and it's the first cross-chain implementation.
Yeah, so you're speaking about apps that have a token economy, right?
Yeah. So part of the next milestone for them would be having a project token. And so with the VE33 model, users will be able to lock that in the protocol, and then they have governance rights to determine where liquidity goes and which pools and fee structures. And it's like the next iteration of the DEX model.
Very cool. DEX in a box.
Yeah.
And then we have TOBA Unified Stablecoin Initiative. So there has been conversation. I was just at a dinner in DC last week about the proliferation of stablecoins and do we really need 1,000 or 10,000 stablecoins? I guess your thought there is that they're coming. So let's figure out a creative way to unify them.
Yeah, definitely. I think there'll be more stable coins outside of USDC and USDT, which have
now Tether announced, I guess, USAT, right?
Yeah, and PayPal and Stripe, and you're seeing the same thing in the Korean market.
Waiting for Taylor Swift stablecoin. It's coming eventually.
I don't know that it'll be a stable coin, maybe more meme related. But yeah, the issue, sort of like the blockchain dilemma, is you have all of these new players and issuance of stable coins that exist across different blockchains. So there's like no one canonical asset for devs to build with, and users are looking for the right stable coin on the right chain. And so the TOBA team in the Zeta ecosystem is building a unified liquidity layer for stable coins. So it can accept native deposits of USDC on Base, Solana, or KRW stable coins on, I think, Upbit announced something, or some of the big banks like Shinhan Bank in Korea. So this is one pool where you can then mint a universal USDC token or universal KRW token.
Very cool. Well, I really appreciate you shedding some light on what Zetachain is up to. Sort of looking ahead, where do you guys see yourselves in the next few years in terms of what you would define as success in terms of your mission?
Yeah. So our goal is to make it super easy for users and developers to access the features and utility across all the major networks.
So if you achieve that goal, what does that look like?
You see hyper adoption of this new universal app architecture. So when people build Web3 applications, building on Zetachain is kind of a default. I think there'll be multiple winners, but it's like, if you're a developer, why wouldn't you want to build your app so that anyone can use it? And if Zetachain is successful, then it's sort of like the de facto way to build universal apps in Web3.
Well, appreciate all that context. If people want to learn more about some of your products, your features, dig into Zetachain a little bit, where should they go?
Probably X, so at Zeta Blockchain. And we have a Link3 with like 55 different channels in 20 different languages. We're doing events all over the world, APAC, Korea, of course, and US. We're Silicon Valley-based project. And you could follow some of the things we talked about, like TOBA is about to release their testnet product. Beam is already on mainnet. You can do efficient cross-chain swaps. So a lot of cool products coming out.
All right. And are you on X as well?
I am at Daoist JC.
Daoist JC. Nice handle.
Daoist_JC. Yeah.
Well, thanks again for hanging out with us today. I hope you have a fruitful week here in Seoul.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
We've reached the outer limit at the edge of show for today. Thanks for exploring with us. We have room for more adventurers on our starship, so invite your friends and cool strangers to join our journey. If you're among the hundreds of thousands following us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or watching us on MyCo or YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, rate us, and make an awesome comment too. And don't forget to pass this episode along to a friend or two who would benefit from it. Doubling back to again, recommend checking out myco.io, where you can watch The Edge of Show and earn for your time and attention. That's myco.io. Don't forget to visit theedgeofshow.com. The is part of the domain name, where you can learn more about collaborating with us and also subscribe to the Edge of Weekly newsletter for the latest Web3 news, events, and show drops. In addition, connect with us on all major social platforms by searching for The Edge of Show. Join the exciting conversations happening online. Lastly, be sure to tune in next time for more great Web3 and AI content. Until then, keep pushing the boundaries. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The views and opinions expressed on The Edge of Show reflect solely those views and opinions of the show host and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of these links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.